Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, guys. As you're coming into the room, go ahead and type your name, type who you are, where you're from. If you're in District 5, if you're in Oklahoma City, if you're in Philadelphia, if you're in California, if you're in North Carolina, let me know who's joining me tonight. I am excited to be here. As I promised on every Thursday night, up until election, I will be coming on and giving updates where we are with the campaign, answering any questions that you might have. So I would invite you to like, comment, and share. Someone might need to know, someone you may have talked to earlier today. So, oh, Dr. Sherry is running. Well, let me find out. What is she talking about? Hello, Ms. Jakia. Good to see you online. Hello. Who else is in the room? I'm excited to talk with you all tonight. Hello, Miss Hornsby. All right, a parent. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited. I'm excited. And so you'll have an opportunity to ask a question and hopefully I can answer. And if I don't know the answer, I will say, I don't know. But I will surely go and find out and educate myself. But I am excited to be here. Of course, Election Day is April 5th. I had an amazing opportunity this weekend to do canvassing. And so I am grateful for my team who came out and joined me. I had my sons, Chandler and Cortland, Pastor, my husband who drove me around. I had Miss Alfreda, she was there. I had Reverend Dawn, DeErica, and Therese. Who else was there? Lou Ann came by. Jamie and Jameson came by to help me canvass the neighborhood. So that was just one area. I'm asking you if you want to join me. I actually have a group of students who will join me. This is spring break. So if you know of some young people who need community service hours, this would be a good time that we would submit during the week. I will post like the group that I already have. Oh, wonderful. The group that I already have listed from the school, I will have a way to contact them. There'll be specific times, but I will also actually, if Jakia will go ahead and put in the comments, the Google form where you can sign up. Actually, Miss Hornsby said she had a door knocker. Yay! I don't know who it was. I hope they did me well. Here you go. Here's to volunteer. You sign up there. But if you're on Facebook, you can just go ahead and click that link, and that just gives us a way. So once we gather your information, then when we go out, or we can give you the schedule. Hey, we're going out these days. So we did one turf, one quadrant on Saturday. There were, I think, maybe 10 turfs in that quadrant. Then this Saturday, we'll start all over with a totally different group, head out to another totally different group. And so really within this next week, 2 weeks, I really hope to go ahead and knock that out. Ms. Hornsby, I see, yes, if you have yard signs, hopefully you told the person or the people who came to your door, if they asked, then they were supposed to check that off. And so we have our spreadsheet, and those yard signs will go up in the next 2 weeks leading up to the election. So go ahead and let me know if they asked, and if not, then I'll make sure we reach back out to you and get your address. But if you said yes on Saturday, then we have you on the list. We have you on the list. I'm excited. Had some great conversations on Saturday. There were two gentlemen sitting in one of their driveways, and he began to ask questions. He said, okay, well, if you're a doctor, answer this for me. And he asked me something about the legislation. I was able to share with him. So OKCPS, we handle OKCPS, right? Oklahoma City Public Schools. What happens is whatever laws that are signed in by the state legislature, that has nothing to do with us. In fact, we're kind of bound by that. And our goal is to make sure that we take those rules, those laws, and do the best that we can to service our young people. But what I would ask you to do is to stay engaged. When you know there's a House bill or a Senate bill that's coming up, especially when it deals with education, I just ask you to stay engaged, stay involved. Call your senator, call your call your representative, and let them know, hey, listen, I don't want you to sign that, or I don't want you to participate in that. That helps us when we're on the board, right? Because it's really all we're doing is upholding. Now, we do have amazing ways to govern on the board and to make sure that each child, each school, each family is equally represented. I wanted to share for some of you who are just hopping on and may not know, um, part of my program. And so it says learn to leap, right? Kids can learn a whole lot of things. People can learn a whole lot of things. My platform is learn to leap. So that's leadership, that's equity, that's being having accessibility and partnership. So leadership, building really just lifelong learners, right? I always talk about it's more than just learning how to write a paragraph. It's more than just learning how to count, but it's really enabling our young people, or empowering them to speak up for themselves, right? To advocate for themselves. And so to if they're lifelong learners, they're going into the role of leadership. They have the opportunity to see us, and to gain from that, to glean from that. And so really leadership. No matter what room they walk in, regardless of how they look or identify, that they are leading the pack. And I'm so grateful to know that even in Oklahoma City, we've seen over the last year where our students at the different schools have served in leadership positions. They have staged protests and walkouts and all of that. And so I am glad, I'm grateful for that. Let me see, I kind of missed some things in there. Yes, I see you, Dom. Learn to leap. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is there. Thank you. So if you message the page, make sure that you're on the yard sign list. So I'm broadcasting in a couple of places. I'm actually on my personal YouTube. I'm on my personal page, but I'm on Dr. Sherry for OKCPS Board of Education. I'm on that Facebook page. That is where my campaign. So if you have any questions, that's where you're going to message us, and then we'll make sure that we get that information. Thank you for adding that in there. So then equity, I mentioned, there's a difference between equality and equity. And I heard this and I will forever say this. So equality is that all of us that are on this call right now would get a pair of shoes. If we needed shoes, hey, here are your shoes. I'm going to give that to you. Equity says, I'm going to find out what size shoe you wear, and I'm going to give you that size shoe, because it makes no sense to get a size 12 and you wear size 5. That's not beneficial. So equity says wherever you are, that's I'm going to meet that need and then bring you up where you need to be. Okay? Accessible. Here we go. Look at this. And this may go into this. Ms. Hornsby said, I'd like to know what goals you have regarding improving special education, critical race theory, increasing parent and community involvement. Hello, you're all over my platform. Yes, thank you. So one, improving special education. That is part of my, the A, being accessible, right? Or having accessibility. So we know that there are disabilities that all of us have, right? But our children, there are disabilities that have been identified, but there are also invisible disabilities. And so those are some of the things where I think, we have our special ed program. That is common that in each school. But oftentimes we miss students because we don't necessarily know that they identify that there is an invisible disability. What could that be? A health condition like type 1 diabetes, right? So not type 2, but type 1, which used to be called juvenile diabetes. So there are things that child needs. If the child misses school, that there needs to be some plans, some ways that are made. Children with epilepsy, they may be fine in school, but if they had an epileptic seizure, then it may take them a couple of days to bounce back. So part of that, everybody knows about the IEP, right? Which was an individualized education plan. A lot of people don't realize that there's a 504 plan. A 504 plan has nothing to do with, say, a child learning differently, with ADHD or something of that nature. A 504 plan can go with the child. And so that's with your counselors, that's with the teachers. And it's a document that says, okay, this is the condition my child has. This is how the school is going to support you when your child, again, someone with type 1 diabetes and they've missed a couple of days of school because, they bottomed out and it takes them a couple of days to get back into it. Having a 504 plan, that's one, the teacher, the nurse or the counselor with the parent and the child, they come together and decide, okay, when the child comes back to school, these are some of the modifications that need to be made. If a child needs to, the school rule might be you can't carry water. Well, this child has a health condition. They need to always have a water bottle with them, or a Gatorade or something. And so that is a document that stays in the child's record. So that's very important because, again, it's one of those invisible disabilities. Everybody doesn't know about it, but the child, if they're not catered to, will suffer. And so part of what happens many times, especially in our community, parents don't know this. And so they just say, oh, well, my child is sick or my child has this condition. They don't know that the school is bound to service their child. And so that's a 504 plan. So part of my platform is really educating parents and having this conversation. So if you do have a child that, and we can speak offline and you can message us specifically to go about how do you ask. All you really have to do is ask your school, what is a 504 plan? And then, of course, with your medical background, with the counselor, all of that, the child can get some help. Number 2, and I'm going back to Ms. Hornsby's questions, critical race theory. That's not even something, the bill that was proposed and now law, House Bill 1775, your child is not learning CRT in the schools. It's not. It started out as a law, critical law, and it's really talking about social systems, systemic systems. It has, your child is not learning CRT. What that was a buzzword to get us all excited about that. So learning about the amendments, learning about slavery, learning about the different things, that's not CRT. Those are the facts. That's just education. So don't get bound with it. What happened was, when that was put on the docket, people got scared because they didn't know what it was. And so just understand, K through 12, nobody's teaching CRT. Now, what they might be teaching is sensibility. It might be teaching diversity. They might be teaching, how to get along with different people, right? It is not CRT. So don't sweat that. And then increasing parent and community involvement. That is my P. That's partnerships. One of the things, Ms. Hornsby, I realized, my husband pastors in the city, and during the very beginning of the pandemic, we were able to partner with the Urban League to host a community hope center. And so what we did, we had a fellowship hall that was there that really wasn't being used because, of course, we were all on lockdown, right? Everybody was still being really cautious. And so we serviced up to 20 kids. And of course, there were different centers throughout the city. But I think for me, it made us realize that this doesn't have to stop now that we're back in school. But there are some things that community centers, churches, temples, mosques, my goal is to connect and be that bridge between these organizations, churches, and so forth, and the school. So if Spencer Mid-High is the school here, and there are 2 or 3 churches or organizations around them, then my goal is to serve as a liaison or a bridge to connect them so the question is, so what are they going to do? Are we asking the community come in and tutor? No. But you know what? There again is a church that's not necessarily being used except on Sunday. Perhaps the members could get together and once a month or once a week provide some food for a pantry. Because you understand that many of our kids come to school and we say, oh, they're not paying attention. They can't learn. Sometimes they're hungry. And sometimes they may have come to school late. And so the cafeteria is already closed. They've missed breakfast. What would it look like to have a piece of fruit donated by a local church? What would it look like to have peanut butter crackers or cheese crackers or a juice box or some water, something? So that's just one way that churches, organizations can circle around that church. Around the school. That might be also if a church has wash and dryer. You don't know if they're kids that are coming from an apartment complex and it wasn't, whether they're wearing uniforms or not. What if they need clothes washed? What does it look like with one of the mothers from the church, and there's a washer and dryer there at the church, and say, you know what, once a week we'll come and pick up the clothes. It can be anything. It can be partnering to help teachers with school supplies, right? We know that money is tight, and many times the teachers, if they've gotten a stipend, sometimes it's not sufficient to a need comes up in November. They got all this back to school supplies in August, but what happens in November? And they're out of paper for their classroom. That's the type of wraparound service. And so my goal is actually, so this page, which is now the campaign page, once I am elected, once you vote me in April 5th, then my goal is to turn this into my community stage, so that I can answer questions. If not every Thursday, then definitely once a month. So once we've gone through the board meeting, I can come back and really kind of tell you, okay, let me just break it down. This is what we decided. These are the things we're questioning, and kind of help the community and parents stay involved. So I hope that answered your question, Ms. Hornsby. I do appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Are there any other questions that you have for me? Some people say, I don't live in your district. I can't vote. What can I do? Your checkbook goes across. You can write that at any point. So Jakia is going to place that. If you would still like to make, thank you. If you would still like to make a donation to the campaign, so that hopefully you guys have heard my ads on the radio station. If not, you need to call them, because I pay good money to be on there. But it takes money to run the campaign. And so I have fabulous, you see my graphics, you see, I have a team. I am grateful for an amazing team. And so we've been raising money so that we can get those things to into the neighborhood, to Miss Hornsby, and to all those people in the community. Actually, Jakia just dropped it there. And so that is an Act Blue. So it is a secure Act Blue account. It does not come to me. Let me just say that from the people. I get nothing. I don't get paid. So any money that comes to me does not go to my personal bank account. It goes directly to Act Blue, which goes into the committee to elect Dr. Sherry for schools. And then from there, that's how I pay for my ads. That's how I pay for my walk cards. That's how I pay for my yard signs. That's how I pay the people who are working for me so that I can get in there, right? So just so you know, this is not Cash App Sherry. It doesn't work like that. It's real, it's legitimate. And so I want you to be comfortable in that. So again, Jakia posted in the comment. Actually, Jakia, if you go to my website page as well on, my YouTube page, you can click that in there as well. So anybody that's watching on YouTube, again, I tried to make sure that I connected with everybody, whether you're on my personal Facebook page, the campaign, or my YouTube page. And you can also go to drsherryforschools.com. Okay, www, I can't speak, Dr. Sherry, the number 4, schools.com. And so from there, people say, well, I really don't know you. That's why I'm doing this, so you can get to know me. But also you can go to the website. You'll see a picture of my beautiful family, my husband and our 2 sons. Sorry, Arby couldn't come. That's the dog. We missed him on that picture. But that'll just kind of give you a glimpse into who I am. Here's what's funny. I always say God has jokes. I'm a podiatrist by profession. I went to school, podiatric medicine, Temple University. My husband and I, we've been here since 1998. And I'm a graduate of Spelman College. I was chemistry pre-med. When I got here in Oklahoma, I worked with a podiatrist for just a moment, maybe a year. And then I started substitute teaching. And then I realized I kind of like kids. I always knew that I would take care of the kids at church, and I love to love on people. But I had an opportunity to start substitute teaching. And guess where my first assignment was? One of my schools, like right now. Look at God. It was at Moon Middle School. I started subbing at Moon Middle School, and then I became the long-term sub. And because of my medical background, I was a long-term sub for health. And then from there, where did I go from there? I think I went down to Webster, and I was there, general science, like earth science teacher. And then I went to Northwest Classen and taught high school chemistry. And so excited for that. Oh, there's an HBCU mom. What? Where's your baby? Where's your baby? So I went to Spelman. My husband went to Morehouse. And so yeah, I'm glad you're HBCU mom. You understand. And so yeah, so then I've just been in education. So from the moment I was teaching high school chemistry at Northwest Classen, I also began as an adjunct professor in the African American Studies program at the University of Oklahoma. And so it's funny, I would leave Northwest Classen. I would pick up our oldest son from school, drop him to my husband at the church, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, drive to OU to teach my class. And though it's just grown from there. And so I'm still there. I taught today, and I'm excited about that. So I have seen it from middle school to high school, college level, to community centers. And I realize at the end of the day, our kids just need to know that there's somebody out there who looks like them, who's invested in them, who wants them to think bigger, to dream bigger. And sometimes that doesn't happen until they're exposed, right? And so that's always my goal. So they see this bald-headed Black lady, like, yeah, I know her. Yeah, that's my representative, right? And she works for us. She comes by the school. Okay. Oh, Angela Hornsby. All right, Dillard Pre-Law. Woohoo! I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So that's a little bit, hopefully, about me. Hopefully, you get to know a little bit more. I will tell you what's coming up for the community. March 29th, correct me if I'm wrong, Jakia, but March 29th, there is a community forum, and it's being hosted by the Urban League. I believe it's at the Urban League. And so that will be an opportunity I do have an opponent. So my opponent and I will meet you, we'll debate, we'll do whatever we do on that night. And I'm sure it'll be broadcast. And what I'll probably do is have it so it's streaming through here too. So if you can't get to the meeting or not comfortable coming out, I still want you to have access, and you won't be able to engage in the questions, but at least you can hear what we're talking about, hear what I'm talking about. So again, I am excited. Are there any other questions? Anything else that I can help you with? Again, once we get off here, if there's a question that you have that you need further assistance, then go ahead and message this page. I will say this, I had a conversation. So my goal in the next couple of weeks is to make sure that I can continue to connect with the high school, elementary, and middle school principals, because I don't want to assume that I know what that school needs. And so it is my goal. I had a great conversation with the mid-high principal at Spencer to find out, what services, and I even talked about some of the wraparound services. There are 3 churches, I believe, around the school. One church is actually really involved and has been involved since the beginning of the pandemic. And so again, my goal, my idea is really just to connect. A lot of us, it's not that a lot of us don't want to help. Oftentimes we don't know how to help. And so because I had the privilege and opportunity to participate in a wraparound service of the community, then I want to show other churches and organizations, temples, mosques, community centers, how to do that for their local schools. Thank you, Jakia just posted. It's the Urban League Forum, March 29th at 6:30. At 6:30. Awesome. Guys, I don't want to be long. I said 10, 15 minutes. I think, what did I go, 20? And so if there aren't any more questions, if I were in church, I would say all hearts and minds clear. Again, I would invite you to go to my website. And if there are any questions that you have there, again, that's part of learning who I am, understanding who I am. Dr. Sherry for Schools, that's where you'll go. If you want to go ahead and make a donation, we are still accepting donations. But just tell everybody, hey, vote for Dr. Sherry. April 5th is coming, just a few more weeks, guys. And also when we come around, if you're in our district, whoever the person is canvassing, they also have your polling place. So just in case you forgot, they can help you with that. It's at the top of every page. I think that is it, guys. Once again, thank you, Ms. Hornsby, for staying connected. And if there's anything else I can do for you, again, just message me, and I'll be sure to get you. If I don't know the answer, I certainly am going to try and find out the answer for you. So guys, have an amazing night. Send your money, send your prayers, vote on April 5th, and I'll see you later. Hopefully on the street, canvassing your neighborhood. Toodle-oodles.